Dear friends, here is news from Thomas's branch line. It is clearly no ordinary line, and life on it is far from dull. Thomas asked me to say that if you are ever in the region, you must be sure to visit him and travel on his line. They would never seen anything like it, he says proudly. I know I haven't. The author, the Reverend W. Awdry.
Thomas and the God.
Thomas the Tank Engine is really proud of his branch line. He thinks it's the most important part of the whole railway. His two coaches, Annie and Clarabelle, agree with him. Sometimes he rumbles over bridges and he goes to the hills. Thomas adores his coaches very much. When they stopped from the station, they would sing songs to each other. Thomas the Tank Engine would say, "Oh, come along, we're rather late. Oh, come along, we're rather late. Oh, come along, we're rather late." And the coaches would sing, "We're coming along, we're coming along, we're coming along, coming along, coming along." They don't mind what Thomas the Tank Engine says to them, because Thomas wants to be really useful to Chicago Hat. And when Thomas is cross, he's not cross with them. Thomas gets cross with engines on the main line that make Thomas late. One day, Thomas had to wait for Henry's train, which made him very cross. "How can I run properly? Henry's always late," he said. He waited for like 20 to 15 minutes or less or more, and he was getting rather impatient. "Come on, Henry, I don't have all day." At last, Henry came. "What have you made, lazy bones?" asked Thomas.
"Oh dear, my system's out of order. No one understands my case. You don't know what I suffer."
"Rubbish. You're too fat. You need to exercise more often." The people got in, and when the guard blew his whistle, Thomas started off so quickly that he left the guard behind. Come along, Thomas fussed, but Clarabelle didn't want to come. "I lost my nice guard! I lost my nice guard!" she sobbed. Annie tried to tell Thomas what happened. "We have the guard! We have the guard! We have the guard!" But Thomas didn't listen. "Where is our guard? Where is our guard?" the coaches screamed. At last they stopped at a signal. "Oh, bother that signal," said Thomas crossly. "What's the matter?" "I don't know," said Thomas's driver. "The guard would tell us in a minute." They waited and waited, but the guard didn't come. Pete, where is our guard?" asked Thomas. "We've left him behind," sobbed Annie and Clarabelle together. "Bother!" Everyone looked, and there the guard was running down the line. He was very hot when he stopped, so he had a drink, and the guard told Thomas what happened. "I'm sorry," said Thomas. "We all make mistakes," said the guard. "It was because of that old lady. Look, the signal is down. We can go. Let's make up for lost time." "We did it! There's the station! Woohoo!" I'm on time, despite a little mistake, said Thomas.
It's great to see you heaving and happily hauling. It won't be long till you are back. Thomas goes fishing.
When Thomas passed along his branch line, there is always something special. By the station there was a river where people were fishing. People would jerk their fish out of the water. Thomas wanted to go and watch people fish, but his driver would say, "No, what was the top hat say if we were late?" Every time he would meet another engine, he would say, "I want to fish," but they all had the same answer: "Engines don't go fishing." "Silly stick in the mud," said Thomas. One day, Thomas was by a water tower. "Out of order? Bother! I'm thirsty." "Never mind," said the driver. "Let's go get some water from the river." Whee! At last, they stopped at a bridge. They got an old bucket, and they had to drop the bucket in water, but it has 5 holes, so they had to pull the bucket up several times over. At last, that's good," said Thomas as he puffed along the line. They were in the tunnel when, and whee! Steam started smoking out in an alarming way. "There's too much steam," said the driver. "Oh dear, I'm going to burst. "We might as well go to the next station and find a siding," said the driver, and they puffed along. Thomas was still fuming and hissing when they reached the station. They uncoupled Annie and Clarabelle, and Thomas puffed into a siding out of the way. "I got such a pain, he hissed. "I got such a pain, Ow!" The driver telephoned the inspector and Sir Top Hat. Soon they came. "Cheer up, Thomas," they said. "We'll soon put this mess right." The driver had told the inspector and Sir Top Hat what had happened. "The feed pipe is blocked, eh?" said the inspector. "I'll soon put that right." He looked in the tank, and he said, Excuse me, Sir Topham. Please look in the tank and tell me what you see." "Certainly, Inspector," said Sir Topham Hatt. He clambered up, looked in, and nearly fell off in surprise. "Inspector," he whispered, "can you see fish?" "What?" "Gracious goodness me, how did the fish get there, driver?" "We must have fished them with our bucket earlier." "So, Thomas," said Sir Topham Hatt, "so you and your driver have been fishing. But fish don't suit you. We must get them out." They all took turns in fishing in Thomas's tank, and Sir Topham Hatt told them how to do it. When they finished getting all the fish out of Thomas's tank, they had a lovely picnic of fish and chips. That's good," says the Top Hat. "But fish don't suit you, Thomas. You mustn't do it again." "Yes, sir. Fish don't suit engines. It's too uncomfortable, and they don't go fishing."
Clap your hands. Terence and the Snow.
Autumn had come to the island of Sodor. The fields were changing from Yellowstone to brown earth, and the tractor was plowing when Thomas puffed along. One day, Thomas saw the tractor close by.
Hello,
Said the tractor.
I'm Terrence. I'm plowing.
I'm Thomas. I'm pulling a train. What ugly wheels you got,
They're not ugly. They're caterpillars.
said Terence.
I can go anywhere. I don't need rails.
I don't want to go anywhere, said Thomas. I want to see the world. I don't need roads like you. And Thomas puffed off in a bad mood. Sometime later, winter came. There was snow and frost everywhere. Silly soft stuff, said Thomas. The snow is melting, so I can go anywhere. On the rails, at least. They finished their journey safely, and they saw something strange. You need your snowplow for the next journey, Thomas. Pah! Said Thomas. Silly soft stuff doesn't stop me. Thomas was cross with the snowplow when the crew put it on. He shook it and he banged it along the journey, and it was so damaged that the driver had to take it off. You are a very naughty engine, said the driver. The next morning, the driver and the fireman came early, and they tried to make the snowplow fit, but it didn't seem to fit. Thomas started off with the driver and fireman. Pah! Silly soft stuff. I don't need that stupid old thing yesterday, and I shine today. Snow can't stop me. He rushed into a tunnel, thinking how clever he was. But then, trouble struck. Oh, no! Cinders and ashes! I'm stuck! And he was. The guard went for help. Back, Thomas! Back, said his driver. Thomas tried, but his wheels spun in the drift. As fast as the people dug, more snow fell until Thomas was nearly buried. Oh, my wheels are coupling walks! I shall have to stop here till I'm frozen. What a silly engine I am. And Thomas began to cry. At last, the bus came to rescue the passengers. And who else would rescue him but Terence? Snow never worries Terence. Terence pulled away Annie and Clarabelle, and then he came back for Thomas. Thomas's tracks were cleared, but his wheels still spun when he tried to move. Terence tugged and slipped and tugged. At last, Terence was able to pull Thomas out of the ditch in the snowbank. Thank you, Terence. You are so helpful. I hope you'll be sensible now, Thomas said his driver. Oh, I will. Thank you, Terence. Thank you.
Thomas and Bertie.
One spring morning, Thomas was waiting at a junction when a bus arrived. Hello, said Thomas. Who are you?
What's that? Oh, I'm Bertie. Who are you?
I'm Thomas. I run this branch line.
Oh, so you're Thomas, are you? Oh, yes. I remember now. You stuck in the snow, didn't you? I took your passengers and Terence pulled you out, didn't he? Well, I've come to help you with your passengers today.
This made Thomas cross. Help me? I can go faster than you.
You can't.
Yes, I can.
All right. I'll race you.
You got yourself a deal. The drivers agreed. And then the driver said, 1, 2, 3, go! The engine and the bus took off. Thomas couldn't go fast at first, but pretty soon he was going faster than he ever went in a long time. Annie and Clarabelle were anxious. Come on, go fast! Go on, go fast, Thomas! Wait and see, said Thomas cheekily. Bertie's ahead, Bertie's ahead, Bertie's ahead. Thomas didn't mind, for he knew there was a level crossing. Bertie was at the level crossing when Thomas came right through it. Goodbye, Bertie. Bye-bye. The road left the railway and through the valley. Bertie was way over when Thomas went under. Woo! What the? Bertie's ahead! Bertie's ahead! At the station, Thomas said, Hurry along, please! Hurry along, please! Bertie's up ahead! Bertie's up ahead! Thomas puffed away as soon as the guard blew his whistle. Come along, come along, come along! Later, Thomas reached the station where Bertie was up ahead. Oh, bother, he groaned. There's the station. Oh, dear. I'm sure we lost. Calm down, Thomas, said his driver. We'll be Bertie yet. We'll be Bertie yet. We'll be Bertie yet, said the coaches. As Thomas stopped at the station, he heard a honk honk. There was Bertie.
Goodbye, Thomas. You must be very tired. Sorry I can't stop. We buses have to work, you know. Ta-da.
The next station was by the river. Thomas stopped at it, and then when he went across, then he heard an angry honk honk. There was Bertie waiting at the traffic lights. He started off with a roar. Soon, Thomas and Bertie were racing side by side. I'm going to win! I'm going to win! Yes, you will win! You will win! You will win! Thomas plunged into the tunnel where Bertie was left behind. Thomas reached full speed and then he saw the station up ahead. And he slowed down and stopped at the station. Wow, what a race! The passengers cheered. When Bertie came in, they gave Thomas and Bertie 3 cheers. And Bertie told Thomas,
Phew. That was well done, Thomas. That was fun. But to beat you over that hill, I should have to grow wings and be an aeroplane.
Thomas and Bertie now keep each other busy. Bertie's passengers do not like being bounced like peas in a frying pan, and Sir Toppenham warned Thomas not to race at dangerous speeds. But although, between you and me, they would like to have another race, I don't think they will ever win a race for a while now. Don't you?